Hi, everybody. Um, Here we are again. I'm Carrie, and I'm going to help you tackle decision making today. Sometimes what we have is we have these choices we're going to compare each other. Should I do this or do that? And try again. Hi, everybody. It's Carrie again. And today I'm going to talk about decision making, how to make decisions when you got a big set of choices. It doesn't matter if you have 10, 3, 2. It's easier for me to teach you with two, but you've got should I do this or should I do that? And what happens is we get involved in the comparing each other rather than looking deeply at each one on its own. And so what I'm going to do is teach you a way to do that. And so making a decision by the time you get to the end of it, of the exercise, it'll be clear cut exactly what you need to do. Okay, let's get going. I'm going to teach you what I call a pros and cons matrix. It takes each option, looks deeply at each one, at all the pros and cons. Oh, this is terrific about this one. Not so much on about that. The idea we think in here is that each decision, each option has pluses and minuses, maybe even the inkling of a red flag or something's not quite right, but. So what we're going to do is just go into it right away. I want to show you what my pros and cons looks like when it's done. I'm going to turn this a little bit so you can see it better. Here we go. There you are. Uh, this is just what it is. The way it's made is by making, I say, basically three columns: the job, the issues, the pros, and the cons. That are draw a line and have a section here and a section here. This section is for, do I do the thing? And this one is, do I not do the thing? What are the pros and cons of not doing the thing, whatever the thing is? And here is if you do the thing. So I'm going to go and just want to show you, you've got all kinds of options and you look deep into it. So let's do it in blue here. Now I have a couple clients that through this last several months, most of the year, have been looking at job options. They've been looking for a job, and both of them have had choices. And the question is, okay, let's stop here. Let's try. This is try number 3. Try. All right. So what I'm going to do is teach you what's called a pros and cons matrix. It's a way of looking at two or more, all the options, one by one. Just look at this option. What's the option here, and what are the benefits of it? And what's this option's total not happening gig? Perhaps it's a red flag. Perhaps it's just this thing's not so great. So let's look at it. You make it in basically 3 columns. Okay. This is the pros, and this is the cons column. So we're going to look at the pros and the cons, like everybody else with decision making. But then we're going to have another way of looking at it. This is the to do the thing or to not do the thing. So you're going to look at it in those two dimensions. So each of these clients, and I'm going to mix their stuff up. So it may make no sense in terms of real human do it, make it a little bit more visible too. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. It may not be exactly making sense, but this is just an example. So my clients had jobs that it was like they'd been through the first interview and they had they think they're going to get a second interview. And then they have another option, which that's really good. That's really, really good. But if they take the first option, they're still in that decision making place. They don't really have the one or the other. And if they had both, or should they wait longer for option two? Because option one is probably going to happen, but maybe not. So what we do is we're going to look at each of the options and we're going to say, okay, um, so let's look at the option to take this job, and we're just going to talk about job A. We'll say job B for another sheet. Take a piece of paper and do it straight like this. So what are the pros of doing the thing, of taking this first job if it's offered to you? Okay, that's the question. And the pros might be there's more money than expected, or than currently, than the current job. Okay, and it might be that it's hybrid remote, which might be something one of them are looking for. The they liked the people when they went to the interview. The people were real positive. They liked the energy and the personality of the people they were going to be working with. It's the industry is right. One time I had a gal who was working in automotive industry. She was an arts major. She's into music and theater, and eventually she did get a job in her industry. But that's important. She wanted to get out of that. She wanted to do the same thing, but she wanted to do it in an arts environment. So, for her, if this were her, but it isn't, it would be the right one. Okay. Um, uh, it's a growing company. That was one thing, which meant that there are going to be options, and there's a future. It's not everybody's been in the same job for 50 years. Okay. So, all right, to do the thing, to take the job, lots of good reasons. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at my little list and see if there's more. Oh, yeah. They seem to appreciate um, the skills that this client brings more than the job you have now. Okay, those are the way. So 1, 2, 3, 6 good things, 6 positives. Sounds like this is a good job to take. But let's look at the cons, because there's always cons, right? Okay. Let's see. Ah, the cons are that when they, like the 7, when they do have to go in, it's a long, uh, it's a long drive, for in-office days. If you do take in, that means that, and it's in the wrong direction, so it's further from his fiance. Let's see. Not that hard a word, Carrie. There you go. And it's uh, uh, so overall, eventually have to sell a house because he's going to stay there. He's got to go, and if he's married, but then with his fiance, they're going to both have to move there. These are important things. Let's see what else I got on my little list. Oh yeah, and longer for seeing his kids because he and his wife share custody. Okay. So let's see if we've done enough. This is what's going to happen if we do the job. We take the job. If it's off, we take the job. There's some serious issues. Good, because one of the things you can look at right here is, well, the money issue, since there's so much more money, it might be easier to handle the long drive. Maybe hire a limousine. I don't know what it means, but I'm just saying. Um, and because the appreciation of the skills in the growing company, it'll be a move worth making. But right now, we're just looking at the pros and cons of doing the thing. Okay, if I'm offered the job and I don't take it, one of the pros is obviously going to be, staying in the house. Oh, my goodness. Let's try again there, shall we? You get to stay in, he put it, get to stay in my house. This guy really loves his home. He's a really nested there, had a long time. And so close to the kids and fiance. Um, let's see, what else have I got in that category? Let's see. Oh, yeah. The cons of not doing it is, it's too stressful now. It's financially tight. If I, uh, the cons to not taking, if I don't take it, I'm still underappreciated. Another con to not taking it is feeling trapped in the job, the circumstances, the other kinds of things in this life. Let's see what else we got. Okay, the pros to not taking it. I don't know, that's good enough. We've got, I'm gonna look at the other side and see what I wrote last time I did this exercise. Ah, yes, something he said was kind of interesting. If he doesn't take the job and he stays and he puts up with these things, a possibility in the current company for moving up um, um, when there's a new owner. In which case, maybe some of these other things would happen also. But okay, so it's not quite obvious these things are. Um, Yep, let's stay here. This seems to be, we've got plenty of things to talk about. So then what happens? The next thing to do, let's take our red one. Say, okay, this is just job A. This is just the first job. What's the most important element in each of these boxes? And we take each box separately. So we're only going to look at one at a time, and which of these pros is like the number one in importance for you. So let's see. What the client would say actually was, one of them would say that this was the most important thing. Okay, so let's go with that. let's call that number one, is making enough money because he's very tight financially right now. That is growing and that they appreciate his skills at this job. These are important. He doesn't feel appreciated at his current job, and partly that's reflected in the money, right? And he's kind of feeling stuck there, unless, like this one says, if there's a new owner. Okay. So the hybrid remote kind of matters because maybe that would mean he could stay in his house depending on what's going on, at least until they get a new place in the new part of the world. The children finish. One of his kids is in high school and will finish, and maybe then they could move. So we're peeling out the pieces, the elements from the whole story. All right, over in the cons, do that with green. I probably shouldn't do it that in the greens. Okay, in the cons, what is the most important con? It's these two. I think they kind of are both a one. And this is really important. He feels like eventually he'd have to sell the house if he went off to next state over. And then, yeah, the drive doesn't worry him so much. It's if it's hybrid, then he's not going to be doing it every day, every week. All right. Let's go over here to the reasons not to do it. What are the most important here? Close to kids, yep. That we know is the most important. And staying in the house, we talked about that before, so that's number 3 for him there. And in terms of the not do, yeah, the most important, frankly, is being so stressed now. Financially is part of the stress, but he's stressed because he's not appreciated, not in the right industry, this, that, and the other thing. And therefore he feels trapped. And underappreciated. I think he's about the same way. Place. Okay. So let's look at what's number 1 for each one. Kids and fiance. Here it's the money and the the possibilities. Here the con the most one is what one is the fiance, right? That kind of connects with that one. Have to sell the house. Yeah. And the cons here are it's stressful. And financially tight, right? Okay. So what we see is that the key elements are um, the kids and the fiance being close to home. Home is key for him, absolutely. And here's number one, and that's part of the stress. And the financial. So the hybridness of it, the be feeling unappreciated, the long drive, these are not as important. These are the key elements. Okay. So to do this job, the most important things to him would suffer. He would not be home. He would not be with his kids and his fiance, and he'd be trapped if he. Oh, he's still but he's still to be trapped financially. Okay, so money or kids, money or loved ones is his question here, and it would depend on if it was your life and what his choice was. Okay, so maybe he stays because the kids and the financial. The only way to keep that stuff going is to not take the job. right? But if the financial beat out, it's like, well, we'll figure the kids and the fiance, we'll figure it out within time. But we need the money in order to do that. That might have been his. But what happens when you bring it down to like it's a couple of things, you really know in your heart what's really important here. There's the other shit. Absolutely. There's all that other stuff. Absolutely. And yet, you know the element that matters most to you, to your heart. And that's what he chose. Is what most important to his heart. And the same with the young lady. Is also in here somewhat. Okay. So that's how you do it. When you go to plan B, you do the same thing. Okay, so let's now go for job B on the flip side of this board. If we want to compare, we still have job A, job B, and pros, cons. Okay. To do the thing, to not do the thing, whatever the X is. And so you see how we're doing this again. All right, so let's see what we've got. That job was out of state, so let's make this one in state. So biggest one will be the con might be that financially it'd be the same amount of money, but it's in state. It too is a hybrid remote. This one, both the people in the interview that they're going to be working with seems good. One of the things was in the interview, no questions were asked. And so it was kind of weird red flags. Like they didn't ask any questions of me. All right, so it's in state, no travel, hybrid, remote, still slightly. So the cons are because financially the same, uh, house sale, must also happen, which is a big deal. Um, Interestingly enough, for the woman in this scenario, it was the job was she'd be still living with her mother, which she doesn't want to do. Okay, let's see what else we have here. What other options? The pros to going is like I don't know, nice office on my own. Both of these people are white collar, as I imagine. Let's see. Look at the pros to not doing it. The pros to not doing it are that you know still could find a better paying job, right? If you don't take it, options are open still. Um, Other pros are, yeah, pros to not doing it. See, pros to not doing it. Cons, who knows what it'll be for you? I mean, these are just examples. Cons of not doing it. Um, you know, money is still tight. The pros to not doing it. Well, he can stay at home and um, for her, she's still with her mom because the money is still tight. Uh, Pros of not doing that job. Ah, um, it has a bit more of a dead end. Um, no growth kind of vibe. Okay. So again, it's not like, I mean, I'm not going into great detail because we've done this already. The one and the two, all right. The pros are obviously going to be in this one, that's number one. And number two, the offices, neither one of them are real sticklers for office space. So that's this box. Let's look at the cons. What's the most important part of the cons here? Ah, this one, which is pretty much the same as this. Financially the same, so it doesn't really change the financial situation, was part of the reason why they want to change jobs. In the not do, the most important is dead end. Um, the possibility is out there that there might be another job because these aren't jobs that have actually, they've taken. There are other jobs out there in both their fields. And in this box, in the what's the downside to not doing it? Well, the problem is the money. Okay. Here's interesting. Um, the being close to family is still big in state, but in only one box. It's only in one box. What's more loud here is financially still tight. Okay. And yeah, this is, dead end kind of job, no growth. So the best part is, again, if it's the same guy, we're kind of mixing these metaphors, in state. So if he's going to pick either of these jobs, you see how it changes things. It changes the question. If he gets offered both jobs, one of them has the same and is close to his family, and the other one would require him to leave, go further away from his family. I personally would take either job if I were the man in the picture anyway. The woman's different story completely. But again, you've got choices. You could say, okay, so the most important thing, and actually both of them said the same thing. Whatever job I look for has got to make me possible for me to put my home and my family and keep them at the top of my priorities. And any job that doesn't do that, wonderful as that, great people, hybrid, so you can be home with the kids sometime. The financially more is the second biggest thing. But presumably there are jobs out there where um, this potential person could get a better job closer to home. Now, what that might mean is it would be in a different industry. But hey, look in here, staying in the same industry isn't as important to either of these people, by the way, as being financially secure. And so, if the only two jobs in the universe were these two jobs, somebody might say, well, the industry doesn't matter. Having the kids and my fiance and my home, that matters most. And then second comes the financial. So it's got to be a job where if it's the same industry, fine, wonderful, terrific, but it might not be. And that helps you make both a broader, helps you decide between this job and this job if you have them at the same time, if you offer them at the same time. Or it may say, well, you know, I'll go to one of them second interview and see, how hybrid remote. One day a month, a week a month, maybe that wouldn't be such a bad deal with the previous side. with job A. So you understand how this is a very helpful thing, because it can peel out exactly what's the good and the bad about each one. You can see each one clearly as its own choice in comparison to the current choice, or comparison to another choice that might be out there, or another choice that's out there if you have like 3 or 4 options. A little cheat sheet here. Ah, I've also had people use this kind of same gig, same pros and cons matrix to help things like, do I divorce? I had a client who was an expat, and she wanted to go home, and her husband didn't really want to go home back to the States. And so I helped her decide by figuring out each option: staying here, well, staying where she was, or splitting. And that had a lot of things. It wasn't here and there. What if I go? What if I don't go? What if I stay? What if I don't stay? What if I divorce? What if I don't divorce? You see? So it can be all the dimensions of your query, of your decision-making problem, can be worked through individually to clarity. You get real clarity. Yep, gotta stay in state. Yep, gotta have the remote. Or yep, gotta have the financial security because nothing else works whatever job I take. And you'll find that out what matters in your heart, because this stuff peels down into deeper levels than your basic should I do, job A or job B, because you're comparing things that aren't the same. So let me reiterate, the way you do this is each item, each option, you write a pros and cons column, and each one you ask yourself, what are the pros if I do the thing? What are the cons if I do the thing? What are the pros if I don't do the thing? What are the cons if I don't do the thing? And the double negative can kind of trip your tongue up. So just ask yourself the same question. If I don't do it, what bad thing will happen? I've got to put this one little piece in. Down below, I have put in a PDF printable thing. It's a template instead of if you don't have a whiteboard like I do. So you can just print this out. It's got the same thing I've written them on the board, the two columns. Okay? Just in case you'd like to use that. I put it down below as a link to it somewhere down there. So, my name is Carrie. I'm your kitchen table shrink. And my job, my channel, is all about how to help you guys, ordinary everyday people, learn some of the lessons that I have learned are very helpful with my general therapy clients. Not everybody needs or wants therapy, but an awful lot of the skills that we can teach people in bigger trouble than you and I generally are, if I can teach them to you in a way that's helpful, a way that's fun, and a way that's lighthearted, but like I said, useful. That's my point. That's what I'm trying to do here. And if you're getting any benefit out of these little videos, do give me a shout out, a thumbs up. Don't want those, but I'll take them if I need to. But give me a comment if you do. And subscribe, make a bingle, bingle, dingle, fingle. I don't know. Make all those things go beepity beep so that I know you're having a good time and that I'm being helpful. All right. Cheers till next time. Bye.